Hey guys, welcome back. It's your host Jamie.
And Jamie, and today we have Emily with us.
Hi.
Hi, we are so excited to have you on. Thanks for coming.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited to hear what we have to say today. How has your week been?
My week's been good. It's just school and keeping me occupied.
Yeah. You have spring break soon though, right?
Yeah, it's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you have any midterms or no? You don't know?
I
don't know
don't
either.
know. I really don't.
I don't know either.
I know like the week before.
I don't think I do.
I don't think I do. I feel like I've never really had them.
I've never taken a final.
A final?
Wait, what?
Like I've never had to take a final in person at the end of the semester or anything.
How?
I don't know.
You
Be a
just have,
psych
like,
student.
You just have like a final assignment due. And
It's just
it.
like exam
essay?
4 or something.
Oh, wow.
I've had a final project, but I've never had like a final test in person or like a cumulative final or anything in college.
That's wild. I feel like I swear I always have like something.
Dang.
No, I'm lucky.
Can't
I
relate.
guess.
I'm not in college. That's so funny. Do you have like any plans? Are you going out of town for spring break or?
I might be going to Texas. I don't know though.
Yeah, for work though.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
At the fair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you always like play your job off like you don't think it's cool anymore, but I think your job is so cool.
But I've like grown up in it.
Exactly.
So it's, like,
yeah.
the same thing for me every day, every year.
Yeah. That makes sense.
How was Disneyland?
It was good. I had a lot of fun. Did you?
It was good. It was fun. It was a lot of work taking 2 kids as expected, but it was a lot of fun.
Kason was having so much fun. And
Yeah.
I just loved watching him on the rides and like his reaction to everything was so cute.
Well, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Like, he had the best time. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy that we were all able to make it really special for him.
Yeah, me too. My
yeah.
feet hurt really bad though.
Best birthday ever. My whole body hurts. I was trying to book a massage today, but my lady didn't have any appointments.
Dang it.
I know.
Massage sounds nice.
I know, right? After, I think it said we walked like 13,000 steps or something. It was like 6 miles. I don't know. It was ridiculous.
Jeez.
I was like, I haven't walked this much in my whole life, actually.
I should check and see how much we did because we were standing and waiting in lines the whole time.
Right.
It was a lot. But.
Yeah, I think it was like the busiest Disneyland has ever, the busiest that I've ever been there was this past week.
Really? That was like not that busy to me.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've gone like on Christmas.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. It was busy. I've gone. Actually, I feel like it's mostly busy in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
guess
would hate
good
going to Disneyland in the summer.
It's so busy.
Because I feel like the
everyone's
weather
there.
is like pretty comparable to Phoenix, like kind of sticky and hot and gross. I don't know.
It's not as bad here.
Yeah.
Like here, it's really hot and just like you can't even go outside. It's too hot. But
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm glad we went. So thanks for having us go.
Yeah, it was fun. But definitely won't be going back for a while.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely getting older because I finally got to a point where I'm like, I don't need to come back here.
Yeah.
Like I usually want to be like, I'm like, I don't want to leave. Like I want to go back, but I don't. Honestly.
Next
Yeah.
time for Macy's 4th birthday?
No, when she's 5.
I feel like her 5th birthday would be
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
But I want to take her into that Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique.
Oh,
It would
yeah,
be
that would
so cute. You guys can
I
come.
can't
We can
believe
do a
she'll be that big to like be able to sit in that chair.
I know. You
Oh,
guys are both
so cute.
invited.
I'm so excited.
What if we
actually,
just
now.
leave all the men at home though, and it's just us?
Girls trip?
Girls
Yeah.
trip. That'd honestly be so fun.
We all
Like they
do
can
the
come
Bibbidi-
with us, but they can stay at the Airbnb.
Yeah,
They can go
stay
golf.
home.
Yeah, they can go golfing
Yeah,
or
they can
something.
That'll occupy them for
Exactly.
I'm sure they won't complain, honestly. So
I think they would rather golf than
Yeah.
go to Disneyland.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, anyways, to jump right into it, something that we ask every guest that comes in our podcast is, what is your favorite Bible verse and how does it resonate with you specifically?
So my favorite verse would probably be Isaiah 60:22. It says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen."
That's
And
I like
I
that.
think that's very important to me, and it resonates with me because all around it's everyone's rushing everything and they want the next thing, and I think I need to like slow down and prioritize his timing, his will, and not my own.
Yeah.
no, I feel like that's so hard to remind ourselves, and like that's such a good verse to keep in mind because I also am like I'm very
rushing.
impulsive. Like
Yeah.
I'm rushing to do things, or I'm like, I'm always so busy, all those things. But I feel like just slowing down and focusing on God is just so helpful in those times.
Yeah. I think just like focusing on his steps and just soaking in what he has to offer and acknowledging that and following his plan, not your own.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna that's gonna be a goal of mine for the rest of my life.
Well, and it was cool that you could say that without reading it. So
Yeah.
I know, that's impressive.
Yeah, it must actually be your favorite Bible verse.
Well, lately it's just
Yeah.
trying to be on his timing, not my own.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's happening that's doesn't feel like it's his timing, or like that you're trying to make his timing instead of your own?
I think maybe just rushing life, like thinking I need a house now, I need to move out, I need to get married, I need to have kids because that's what I want. All I've ever wanted was to have kids. Me too. So trying to like focus that he knows when the right time is and he'll make it happen. So
yeah, no, I relate to that because I feel like I'm only 20. Why do I want kids already? Yeah. But like I know realistically I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like I don't have a house. I don't have the money to afford a house right now. I don't have the means for any of that, but like I want it so bad. So I'm like trying to be content in the present and like focusing that right now what I'm going through God wants me to be going through.
Yeah, that's kind of like with me because like we're about to graduate and it's like I'm trying to like rush on like what to do next and I don't know what to do next.
Same.
And just stressing on that, I think it's like important to like he'll make it happen if he wants it to happen and kind of letting his light lead me where I need to be.
I love that.
That's good. That's just life. I feel like everyone, just everything is just like, let's go. Yeah. And it's like, no, like, let's just soak. Down, soak in this moment and not try to rush through. Because even when we come home from Disneyland, I was like, okay, what's next? And that's like so.
It's so bad. I feel
not
like
the way.
That's just what we know. As like on Earth, we're just like, I just need that something else to fulfill, but it's like, no, God's gonna fulfill us and he's going to do exactly what we need and allow for things to happen to us that need to happen. And it's hard to not think of what's next or like, okay, now what can I do? Now what can I plan? And it's hard when you're like such an overthinker or an over planner. Like, it's hard. So it's a good verse to really just slow you down and I let God take control.
So yeah, I mean, just if you're comfortable, we'd love to hear a little bit of your testimony, how you came to know Jesus and what your faith or what your walk in your faith looks like today. Yeah, so my faith is kind of all over the place, as everyone tends to have their like falling out in like high school, whatnot. I was young, a freshman in high school, and I was not making the most wise decisions and consuming things that I shouldn't have been, especially at that age. I think that took like a real toll on me, like getting in trouble for that and like realizing how upset that made my parents and like knowing that was not where I was meant to be. And honestly, just seeing how everyone like, that's what they were living for. The next party, the next time they were gonna go drink with their friends. Like, and I think I like knew that's not what I wanted to be doing. And that's when I started going to youth group every Wednesday and then Sunday, which was like really helpful to me, like finding like a godly community. But after that, I kind of fell out of my faith again because
it happens. Life,
school, and just having, I don't know, a senior year, and I kind of just didn't prioritize going to church or anything. And then I feel like I've always had my little battles. And recently, well, let's say my freshman year of college, I kind of, I was just a nobody. I kind of felt like I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't productive. I wasn't moving forward. I was moving forward in my education, but it wasn't ever anything that I felt was like gonna change me and like better me. And so that's when you started the Bible study, and I think that's when I found my community and just fell in love with God all over again and wanted to pursue him in every way. And then recently, well, now 7 months ago, which is insane, my best friend passed away. And I think when I got that text, when I fell to the floor, like, I knew God was the only thing that was going to pick me up.
It's so good that you know that, though. Like, God was there and he was with you in that moment. And you, oh, I'm gonna cry. Like, you weren't alone, even though that was probably such a, like, I mean, it was a life-altering thing that happened that you found out. And, like, God was probably right there, had his arm around your shoulder and was, like, picking you up to come back to him.
Yeah, I do feel that. Like, because I just remember I was like, oh, I need him.
Yeah.
Where I feel like most times people, like, when something's so, I wouldn't say bad, because, like, obviously death is not something you look forward to, but, like, seeing that she is with God and that she is in heaven in the most holy place is so, like, almost rewarding, because that's where we all long to be. And I think just knowing that she's there is comforting. Yeah. Because, like, we all suffer some days, and just knowing she doesn't have to deal with any of this, the angry drivers, you know, and she doesn't have to see all these worldly things, and she has all that she needs. Like, I couldn't imagine there could not be a better feeling than being wrapped in God's arms, which I know she is in heaven. So I think that's something I, like, look to.
That is such a growth of you to say, too. Do you feel like you had this mindset right when she passed away, or do you think that it took a few months to be like, okay, this is what it really is?
I would say it, obviously not the first few weeks, because I was just, like,
sad,
distraught. Like, I had no idea, like, how is this real? But I think it all came to light, and I think her mom has been the most amazing person to me.
I love
and
that.
I truly would not be, like, where my faith is, like, without her.
So she's a godly woman.
Yeah. The most inspiring godly woman.
That's so sweet.
I love that. I love that, like, you were able to kind of build that relationship with her even stronger than maybe it was before, and you guys being able to rely on each other and just be there for each other when you need it, and the fact that you both are godly women and can help each other just get through something like this that, like, no one is ever prepared for.
And I'm sure you remind her so much of her daughter, and it's probably just so special that she gets to have you in her life.
Yeah, I think we both helped each other, like, in a lot of ways, and I just think she is so inspiring. Like, through all of this, she never doubted God. She was still so strengthened in her faith, and
that's crazy.
Had unfailing, like, love for him, and was always like, go to God. Like, God is gonna get you through this. God is gonna help you, and, like, helping others grow their faith, and knowing that, like, Sydney's obviously moving mountains in heaven, like, helping us too, just to work closely with God and strengthen us and get us going every day, like, and showing us little signs of her and whatnot, which, like, it helps me keep going every day. And, like, she's always texting me and, like, so supportive and loving, and I think just I'm so blessed that she's in my life, and I could not, like, do this without her.
I think that she also probably thinks that about you too. Like, I think she also is, like, thinks that you're inspiring and that you help her just to get through each and every day, because, like you said, like, you do probably kind of remind her of her daughter, and in that, like, you carry Sydney's legacy on, like, within you by sharing this story, by just, you know, being close with her mom, or just, like, getting any chance. And, like, whenever you get any chance to share her story, you do, and you share it in such a positive way to, like, help other people share her light. And I think you both are just so good at helping each other with getting through this, and I think that
healing.
I think that you help her also as much as maybe you think she helps you.
I think it's, like, one thing that she told me from the beginning was that we have to do everything that we can to make sure that we make it to Sydney in heaven. And like that's something that I work for every day. I want to make sure my spot's right next to her.
That's actually,
I want to be there with her.
I know. That's so sweet.
So like I want to be able to run to her one day.
Oh my gosh. That got me right now. That really, just you saying that, like I'm just imagining her mom like wanting to do everything she can to like see her daughter again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just being a mom myself, like just how you describe her being so strong through this, that is like a godly woman. Like that.
Absolutely.
I don't know, that would be so hard, obviously, to lose one of my children, and the way you describe her mom, she just seems so beautiful. And
she's heaven sent.
I
love that.
That's so sweet.
I'm so glad.
So where does your like healing journey look today? So it's been 7 months. How do you feel? Like, where's your heart now? I know you're living for Sid, and you're doing all the things, you and her mom, to, you know, pull each other to Jesus and ensure your spot next to her in heaven. Where's your heart at? Like, how are you coping with it today?
I think I'm coping with it really well.
Yeah.
I think seeing her mom's strength has a lot to do with that. Like, she can do this, then I really can. Like I could not imagine being in her position, but she has this unwavering faith and strength that I need to have. I need to be there for her, so I need to have that strength and have God by my side at all times.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much just like constantly praying, and I only listen to worship music now. I don't know why, just worship music is so
good,
fulfilling.
So good.
I genuinely like feel so protected. Like I always like would listen to music in the car, and I always had such bad anxiety about driving, and like now I only listen to worship music, and I like feel like I have like a bubble around my car, and like I'm safe.
I love that.
What's your favorite worship song? On the spot, I know you gotta think of it.
Either Gratitude or City on a Hill.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are so good.
Gratitude is so good. I scream that song. I just love Brandon Lake. Yeah, he needs to come to Arizona.
I'm always like, when I'm driving and listening to my worship music, I'm like looking around. I'm like, I hope all of you see me right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. Yeah. Like, I just hope that just me, like in my car, maybe they can't hear my music, but I hope that like can the energy can like reach into their car and like give them a hug and be like, you know, God loves you, Jesus loves you. Like, I just, I'm like, sorry. No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, I wish that everyone could like get that feeling from worship music, because no one, you don't understand it till you do. Like, it's like, if you know, it's so good. And
I just always want to bawl my eyes out. I'm like,
me too.
I swear worship music is when I feel him the most. Like, I actually like stand there in church and I just want to bawl my eyes out. Like,
no, I know.
Thank you for hugging me right now.
No, like, I did that literally every time. So anytime we come before like Bible study or this podcast, honestly, I also mostly only listen to worship music, but like I do that whenever I need to, like, I want to be in a certain headspace, or like I just want God with me. And every time I'm like crying on the way there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's just so good, and you can just feel his presence. Or personally, I can feel his presence so much when I'm just like worshiping him. Yeah, and I love it.
And just seeing like the people singing on stage at church and their like passion and like
I know,
drive for Jesus, like,
well, and I love watching you guys worship, because you both are this and I like, when I'm in the middle of you guys, I just like literally cry every time, and I'm like, these women love Jesus so much, and it's so beautiful. I don't know.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. I just love, along with not only the like singing and all that, like they're very talented and using their talent for so much good, but then also watching everyone else in front of you with their hands up or like crying or bowing their heads. The old people.
Yes. Is so like, sweet.
It literally just makes my heart so full to know that like I'll see you in heaven one day.
Yes.
Like, I love that. I love it.
So aside from this huge drastic thing that happened to you, what else do you think, like, so your college life, freshman year is when you joined the Bible study. was there anything that happened so you go to the #1 party school, I think, in Arizona. Would it be ASU or would it be U of A? I think it'd be ASU.
No,
right?
ASU. That's why ASU is known for being a party school. But
so
we actually graduate in 3 months.
I know, we're almost done.
Then you'll be alum.
No offense, but thank goodness.
Yes. You'll be ASU alum.
That's crazy. I always no offense to anyone out there, but I always like alum.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, that's old.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I know that obviously that's not true. Like, I'm gonna be 20 and I'm gonna be an alum.
That's funny.
That's crazy. I can't believe we're graduating.
I know.
I lost
so
my train
soon.
of thought.
It's okay.
It's okay. But so you go to the #1 party school in Arizona. How have you managed your faith with all of the worldly distractions going on literally right in front of you? And you even dormed freshman year. So you were literally in the party scene. So how, you said, you know, your faith has been strong since freshman year. How have you maintained that through all of the worldly stuff?
I think I've always like known after like my high school that drinking wasn't for me. It wasn't something I wanted. It wasn't something I idolized over, and it wasn't appealing to me. It just simply, I didn't feel anything towards it. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And I think just standing my grounds and knowing like what I wanted to do wasn't that, and that didn't fulfill me. Yeah. And so I think I just prioritized like my own things. And
did you lose friends through that, or how did that look?
I feel like I never really, I had my like roommates in my dorm, like mates, and we still have like a good friendship. Well, not really anymore. Like, I don't talk to them. I'm very antisocial most days. And so I think that's where me and Sydney found each other. It was our like first week of college, and we both weren't for that. And so we had each other, and that's who I made. That was my comfort person through college, my person who kept me up in my faith and moving forward. And
because I also dormed my first year, and oh my gosh, just hearing all the, like, I would have next door to me would be parties like in a dorm. I just thought that was crazy. Like, what, I thought they checked for alcohol in the rooms, like all these things. Like, how is there this party going on right next door? Like, I was in bed, I was trying to sleep, and I'd be woken up from screaming and banging on the walls and like
the fire alarm.
Oh my gosh, fire alarms. It was just such a weird thing because I've never been a partier. Like, I've always kind of been that like a goody two shoes. Like, I never do anything. And so going into college, I was just like, this is crazy. Like, people do this like on the regular.
And every day I'm like, how do you have that energy for this?
I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm exhausted
from
like
going to class. Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired. How are you doing this? And like, just, it felt almost lonely because I was just like, I don't want any of that. And like, I had my roommates too, which like they weren't in the party phase either, or in the party scene either, but it was also just, it was weird because we all kind of felt alone in our own bubbles. Like, one person was doing their own thing, one person was doing their own thing, and like, it's going to college is such a lonely experience. And I think maybe that's why people maybe overcompensate by like going to parties, so like they don't feel lonely. So then they're like, oh, everyone's doing it, so I'm gonna do it because I feel like alone right now and I don't have friends.
They feel like they need to make friends doing that.
Yeah,
and that's what I heard a lot, like going into college, was like, I need to go to all the parties so I have all these, so I make friends. Like, because if we're drunk, it's easy, we can do it. Like, we just talk. And
joining sororities and frats, like, everyone in high school was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna join that. And then they get there and everyone's joining them, which is great. Like, that, you can totally like do that if that's what you really do want to do. It just wasn't for me because, again, it was the parties and all that, and like, you know the crowd, you didn't want to get involved in that. And like, so I feel like it's just hard when you are like strong in your faith, I guess, and having to see all these different people choosing all these worldly things and being like, I don't want to do that, but if I don't have friends.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I am so alone. And we chose to do that. We chose to be alone. Like, we chose, okay, fine, okay, we have friends, but like, we're like, okay, we're not gonna have this huge group of friends and be in this sorority and have parties every night and, wear barely any clothing on the weekends and in class. Like, we just chose that different life, and I'm thankful that we like God stood with us and was like, you don't want that. You want me instead. So I'm so grateful for that.
Well, and all of that fades, all of that, the party ends and you're left with crippling anxiety from drinking all night. Yeah. And I think that sets you guys apart for sure, because college is like, let's party, let's drink. Like, I don't even know how people graduate college. Sometimes I'm like, what? Who's doing your assignments for you?
I was always thinking that, like, my parents are paying so much money for me to be here right now. Why am I going to go out and drink and not make it to class and then fail the class and then there goes $2,000? Like, that's not fair to them. My parents are working hard for that.
Yeah. No, that's sweet of you. Yeah, I feel like people just don't care. And I think it's very easy, again, to just be, like, consumed and be of this world. Right. And it just takes, like, an intentional decision. Like, no, I'm going to separate myself from that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to join a Bible study instead. Yeah. And, I mean, us starting that Bible study, I think, helped all of us so much.
I think it was the biggest blessing.
Yeah. No, literally, I was sitting here as you were talking, thinking of just like, what was something that I did to like determine like how did I choose? I'm not doing that. Right. I'm choosing God. Like, what was it that made me do that? And I literally think it was probably joining the Bible study or like obviously, like my own personal characteristics. Like, I didn't want to party or anything, but like I already was going through a crippling anxiety and I didn't drink. Like, I already had like things in family going on and like friends like, oh my gosh, the drama. Like, I was like, how are you guys doing that? Like, how do you have time, like mental space for that? Like, I couldn't even think about that. So I was like trying to think, and I genuinely think doing Bible study was like everything turned around. Right. Like, I was able to make a good group of friends that were like just so good for me and like what I wanted. Yeah. And that's hard to find at the school we go to. Yeah. Like, I bet they're there, but it is hard. Yeah.
But because a lot of it, not saying that a lot of people are, but there's a lot of people who do, they post godly things, they're praising and then whatnot, but at night their persons change.
Yeah. What is it? They're like at the bar on Saturday and at church on Sunday. Right. Lord, forgive me. And then just doing it again.
I know, I heard this thing like recently, and it was, if God's with you, why bring in places that he wouldn't want to be? So like, why am I gonna, if I have Jesus in my heart and I have him with me, why am I gonna go sit at a bar? Yeah. Jesus doesn't want to be at a bar. Like, and I think that's something that's like really grew on me, because like I don't want to do that. Yeah. Why would he want to be there?
And I almost feel like I feel like these people who are doing this, like, I don't judge them whatsoever. I think that's just like part of their life. Like, that's what they needed to go through to maybe whatever's going to happen someday in their future. But I also like almost feel bad, because I'm like, they didn't get, the opportunity to join a Bible study like I did, or they didn't have a certain support system, or they didn't have like, they didn't grow up in church, or they, like certain things, like everyone grows up so differently. So it like makes me feel bad. I'm like, this is all you want? Yeah. Like, really? Like, I'm over here thinking about my family. I'm like, I gotta be prepared to buy a house. And like, I'm really trying to set myself up for success here with like having a strong, secure family and all of that. But I'm like, you guys don't feel like you're wasting time? I feel like I'm wasting time. And I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to like grasp watching everyone kind of throw certain things away. Like, I've witnessed like friends and all that, like, throw things away for the worldly things in college. And I like, it just makes me sad for them. Like, cause I'm like, I wanted to be like a good role model, or like help you, or like, I don't know. I feel like that's the difference when you do have God in your life and you don't. Yeah. But I try to think of it though, like, that might be a part of their story. That's true.
And that they've come so far from him, and that something may happen where they click and that's their time to run to God.
Oh, I mean, for me personally, I went to community college for a few years, and then I chose that crazy lifestyle, and drinking was like a huge part of my like young early 20s. And I remember telling myself one day that like drunk me was me, and sober me was like an anxious version of myself. So I thought that like me being intoxicated, I was like myself and I was fun and I was like happy. But then when I was sober, I was like, I hate my life. But I didn't realize like, okay, the alcohol is making you feel this way. And again, I think it's all about, I think you mentioned this on our last episode, of just like your heart posture, because I don't think, there's anything wrong with sitting at the bar, but are you sitting there to fill a void? Are you over consuming what you're partaking in, or are you just like meeting with a friend for a quick little chit chat? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's very important. Where is your heart at? Why are you doing this? For me, I was consuming alcohol to fill a void. Yeah. And it was just making me more sad. And I don't know, it just, in the moment, you're like, this is great. I feel so happy. But I think during those years when I was 20, 21, 22, like that was the most depressed I've ever been. Yeah. So, and I think now that that's in hindsight, I can say that, but living through it, I was like, this is the peak of my life. Like, this is so good. But now I can say this is the peak of my life. Now, like, I know Jesus. I have a family. And none of that matters. Yeah. And, yeah, it's just crazy how, like, your perspective can change when you allow Jesus to come into your life. And it's so cliche, like, thinking, oh, I'm going to quit drinking because I'm a Christ follower now. And like, I still casually will have a glass of wine or two with my friends, but it's just, my heart has changed. And what I want out of, that socialization with my friends has changed.
Yeah, I feel like there's very much a big difference between doing it to run away from your feelings or to like, because, when you're drinking, trying to avoid actually dealing with life, that's different than like, hey, I'm going to solve these problems. Great. Yeah. I'm going to go have a casual drink with a friend. Like, it's just so different. And I think, you said it perfectly. Like, it's all about the heart posture and where your intentions lie and what you want out of it. Like, are you doing it to run away from what's going on at home or like from having to do that test that night or, certain things like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like it seems like as I'm watching people in college, it feels like a lot of people are running from things. And like, the psych student in me is also just like, I see your hurt. I see like, if you just, really worked on yourself and really worked on that, like
it's also so sad because the people that you guys see drinking, they're not even the age to drink. And it's like, you guys are altering your brains like in long-term effects that you're not even realizing.
I know. I feel like a lot of the stuff people do in college, they seem like it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter 10 years from now, but like you are starting a problem and it is going to like matter. And that's going to affect your health one day or your mental health. Like
mental health, I think is a main
it's going to it just makes it harder to overcome. Like it's just going to put off whatever you're avoiding longer and longer, which makes it more permanent to your brain. And I think being able, like, I'm thankful that we knew God and knew that like
exactly
that life seems better to me, but I don't know, I wish I could just be like, stop, guys. Let me tell you about God's love first.
Yeah, I think that's really cool timing though for the Bible study to start like when you both were freshmen and you guys had that choice of, okay, Thursday night I'm gonna go to Bible study and I'm not gonna go like to my friend's dorm and drink. So I think that was definitely God's timing for the Bible study for you both. And I'm just proud of you guys because completely different lives than me at your age. So
thank you. Hey, we all do. We go through it. I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason. Like, I fully believe, kind of like you said, like, maybe that is part of their story, going through that. And that's part of your story and how you're able to find God. And I just think that God is so good that he can see all of us have our potential to come to him. It's just whether we choose to grab onto it or not. And
the timing of it all.
Exactly.
Well, so where are you at now? So you have one more year of college or?
No, finish in May.
In May?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You graduate in a few months. I knew that.
I'm finishing a year early, so I should have one more year, but I don't.
Same. That's exciting. So what, I don't want to be like, what's your 5-year plan? But like, what are you looking forward to? Like, what is your hopes for after graduation?
I really don't know. I'm kind of letting God choose my path, because I feel like I've been stressing about it a lot, and I like need to give that to him and let him help me choose that.
Yeah.
And shine the light on the path that he wants me to take and not what I want to take, because I really have no idea. And like, I'm a person who gets bored of things.
Yeah.
Like, I'll choose something and then I don't want to do it like a couple months later. So I want it, like, I want it to be the right path, and I want it to be like one that fulfills God in a way, and that I'm helping others in some way.
Yeah. Well, and that ties into your favorite verse too that you mentioned in the beginning, of just like letting God plan it for you.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like I kind of relate to that. Like you said, we were talking earlier of like, we just want to like be moms and be happy and have a happy family. And so it feels like such a waiting period right now. And it's so hard to not do, like, am I not supposed to do something? Am I supposed to do stuff? Like, I'm applying for jobs, but no one's answering, or like they all need experience and I don't have any because I'm just about to graduate. Like, it's hard because I'm like, what are we supposed to do until that? Because we feel like that's our calling. Yeah. So yeah, I'm also struggling with that.
I get that too, and that's one of the main reasons why I dropped out of college, was because I was like, well, I have really bad ADHD, like actually diagnosed ADHD, and I just pick up and drop hobbies a lot. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and then I give it a few months, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. Let's do something else. So I was like, okay, there's not one job that I think is going to fulfill me for the rest of my life. So why am I like wasting all this time and money in college? Literally the only thing I want to be in this lifetime is a mom. So, I mean, it worked out for me. Obviously, I dropped out of college, and I'm a mom. So it worked out. But I think just, you know, being patient. And I didn't know God at your guys' age. So I mean, I think that that's a huge advantage. I was just very like, I'm just going to drink because I don't know what I want. Like, I'm just going to numb myself because, like, what is life? Yeah. So
I know. I'm like hopeful that I'm able to like just focus on the present and be able to know that like what I'm doing right now is setting myself up for that time when I do have kids, and like, you know, when I do find that job, you know, just I can do that, and that can be what my purpose is for that time in my life. Like, instead of thinking like everything has to be for this one time, like no, like my purpose right now is this, my purpose right like in a few years is this. But I don't know, it's definitely hard to navigate. I think being in college is crazy. Like, I feel like there's just so many things that are happening so fast. It's just so pivotal, and I feel like it's not that talked about, but it is. But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like very like almost like rushed, where I like want to slow down and want to like soak it in. And I know, I feel like because we maybe are graduating a year early, like maybe that's why we feel like that. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, it's happening for a reason. Like, we'll have it figured out. It's going to be fine. Like, God knows that we're supposed to be here in this very moment right now. So when the time is right, he'll make it happen. Exactly.
Amen.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about you and Jack and what you guys maybe have planned, as far as not jobs or anything, but like any of that? Or
what does your future look like with him? I guess we forgot to mention. So, you are dating my husband's brother. So one day you will be my sister-in-law.
One day,
and that is how we know each other. Exactly, yeah. My two future sister-in-laws are in the room with me.
It'd be really bad if it didn't work out.
But do you guys like talk about that? Like, what, like, we keep asking her about her future. We need to live in the moment.
So true.
But what does that like look like with you and Jack?
I mean, I see a future with him, and I hope that one day in God's plan that he is the one for me, and that God will bless us with many things.
How long have you been together?
3 years.
Dang, girl.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So it's like a long time, but
no
rush.
Do you guys feel like you're at that, like, you almost feel married but not.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel.
I feel like we're like so comfortable with each other, and it's just like,
yeah,
I just need to be in his presence. Like, I don't need any attention or anything. Like,
no,
just
I think the ultimate test is, are you comfortable farting in front of each other?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Girls don't fart. I'm just kidding.
You fart. I was just on vacation with you.
When did I fart? Name one time. I'm just kidding.
Well,
so after that TikTok with all that food, you probably me.
I may not have heard
crazy.
it, but I smelled it.
Girl,
I'm just kidding.
I was like, I think I held it in the whole trip.
It's so funny though, when you first start dating somebody, you're so like uncomfortable about like farting and like talking about the bathroom in front of them. You're just like, oh, I need to go home.
I'm a lady.
Like you have to like use the restroom, so you literally leave.
Yeah.
Like, oh my mom needs me, and you go home, but really you just are about to crap your pants. But
I know. I feel like it's weird. I don't know. Being in a relationship is weird. Like, why am I so close with this person? I'm always. He gets so annoyed, but I'm always like, we used to be strangers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we used to literally not know each other. We used to just be on our own separate paths. Yeah. And now we, like...
You're like, watch out. I can make that happen again. We'll be strangers again.
You used to live without me?
I know. What were you doing?
How was life back then? Terrible,
probably
right?
So bored, sitting on the couch all day, just...
thinking about your future girlfriend.
Did I do everything alone?
Yeah.
I know. It's, like, cool being... Because I also feel like being, you know, dating Corey for 3.5 years now, like, it's also a waiting period with that too. So I think that also adds to just, okay, I want to plan everything, but I can't.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, we've been dating for a while. Like, this is gonna happen. Like, we fully plan on getting married, but like realistically it's not realistically right now, that's not in the plan, like not anytime soon. So it's just like, what do we like, it's, I love doing everything, like, we don't live together yet, but like, I love going to get groceries with you or whatever, but I'm like, I feel weird right now, like I'm just waiting on everything. So I'm like, God, please just help me feel content and happy and like soak in these moments, because like I do think about like, oh, I'm gonna look back and think on how like, oh, Corey and I were dating and had a dog and would go on walks and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm trying to be better at like focusing on right now and things, how I can make right now better and make myself happy now, instead of like waiting to be fulfilled at one point, you know. But
easier said than done.
It's easy because it's like now you're kind of like growing with them, and it's not like, it is personal growth, but it's not like you're like preparing for that like next step in life. And I think like us having that faith and like portraying that to others is like really exciting to be able to kind of have that position and like know that one day we will have a family and we can like,
I know, I'm so grateful, like I feel lucky, and like I feel like I got lucky with just where I'm at right now. Like I'm so lucky, like I keep saying like I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that, but like I feel so blessed with where I am at. So I'm like, I feel good, I do feel content, but I'm just like excited to know what's next. Like, oh, I can't wait to see what you have in store for me, God. Like,
and that's the difference of like being excited or being like anxious. And I think there's so much like fun in being excited. You should be excited, but
I used to be so anxious. Like freshman year of college, I was just anxious because I was like, what am I doing? Like, what? I'm here, I'm there, have a boyfriend, like what am I supposed to do? I mean,
I can tell you now, I'm 28 years old, I have a husband and 2 kids, and I'm still like, what am I doing? What's happening?
I'm like, that feeling's never gonna go away. But
so you just learn to trust God and, you know, remember that it's his plan and not ours. And even if we make a plan, it's gonna go out the window anyway.
So true.
Why even waste the breath?
Make it, that one like saying of like, make a plan and God laughs or something like that.
But literally. Well, this was fun. Thank you again for coming on. This was so good. I mean, we've heard your story was said so many times, but it was a lot of vulnerability to come on here and talk about her. And we're just so appreciative of you and your heart and just proud of how far you've come. And we just love you so much.
So much.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to share my story. I think it's like a big step in my faith, being able to like vocalize that to not just like you guys and like
No, even from like
followers.
the beginning of Bible study to now, like hearing the way you talk about God and how confident you are in your faith and all that, like you've grown so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I always just want to be. I think the biggest compliment I could ever get is if someone told me like, "Oh, you radiate God." Like
literally. No, I love that.
That is my dream. So that's where I'm working to get.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you for the little girl chat
good.
too. Love it.
love having it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye.